Hey there everyone, welcome back to another guitar tutorial. In today's video I'm going to show you how to play Rush of Blood to the Head by Coldplay on the acoustic guitar. And this album, in my opinion, is one of the greatest albums of all time. It is a masterpiece and it's one of my all-time favorite albums, released August 26, 2002. Still remains to be a remarkable piece of work. Everything is just masterfully done about it. You know, production, lyrics, melody, chords, just like very nuanced thing, just a very refreshing, masterful album. So anyone who hasn't listened to it in its entirety, I would recommend to do so, because yeah, every track is just great, and it's a great experience. So anyway, let's get into the tutorial now. So Rush Blood to the Head, that's the song I'm going to be leading today. And first thing to mention is we're not going to be in E standard tuning as per usual. Most of the time I say that, but today isn't one of those times. So we're basically going to be tuning down our high E string, and that's going to be going down to a C. So obviously I have it at C right now. So what you're going to do is you're going to tune down your high E string to a C, and on the first string, and the best way you're going to do that is to match it up. Play the B string on the first fret. Use your index finger to play the B string on the first fret, and you'll get a C. Then tune down until this matches up with the E string. So once this matches up with your C, play it on the B, the first fret, with this one. Once you get that sound, once they both match up, then you know you'll be good to go. And that's all you got to do. Just tune down your high E string to the C, and that really just gives this song everything. It really makes it very distinctive, very unique, and different atmosphere, different feel to how it would sound if you play it in standard. However, you still can play it in standard if you'd like, but I would recommend tuning down, because it won't be 100% accurate and it won't feel like the song. So anyway, so let's get into it. So it's in the intro there. So we're going to start out on this A minor, right? And you're kind of going to like do a little alternate up and down stroke. You're kind of going to go like down. Do like a little alternate stroke, alternate strumming. Really just kind of feel it as you go with this, because again, as I always say, just kind of go along with it and just kind of feel the strumming pattern. If you just listen to the song, you'll just get a feel for it. But you've got A minor, and then just before you like transition to your next chord, you're gonna like try and hit this high E string, which is now a C. So we've got a C, A for the C, the high E string, B to C. Then the next chord we're going to go to now is a G over C major. Now I have shown this chord in previous tutorials before. It's really not too difficult, just knowing the, you know, where to put your fingers and like the shape and the formation of it. But basically it's just your regular C chord, right? Just with this G on top. So the low E string, so you've got, you know, the low E string on the 3rd fret, which whatever finger you want to play it with, that'll give you this G, and that's going to be played over your regular C. So you got G, G, C, C major chord. So that's like the best way to like for me to put it, so you can understand it. And yeah, you can just play regular C if you want, you know, it really doesn't matter too much, but try and play this G over C major if you can, because that is what Chris Martin plays. So G over C major. And then after that chord anyway, your next chord then, final chord of the verse, is going to be an E minor. And for this E minor chord, this is the one chord in the verse I would say, like, before you come back to your A minor after that, aim for the B string. So the A minor, you're gonna do this, hit the high E string, which is now a C. Same thing with the G over C major. And then for the E minor, you're gonna go. You're gonna like aim for the B string instead. It doesn't matter if you still play the. But I think when you've listened to it, you do hear the B being played. You don't really hear the high E, or now as it's a C note being played. So you've got. And then back to the A minor anyway. So they're all the verse chords now. That'll get you through all the verses and the outro as well, because that's usually the same chords of the verses. So next bit now I need to get down as. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's the bit that goes, you know. Oh, and by the way, one thing to note as well is you do notice that Chris Martin actually plays an A-7 briefly. Every time you go back to the A minor, so once you go through the first time, A minor, C major, E major, then come back to the A minor again, you're gonna go. You notice he like takes off his ring finger, and then you take off your ring finger off the G string, and then put it back on G string on the 2nd fret. So basically, when you take it off in that brief time, you'll get this, and that'll be your A-7 chord before going back to your A minor. And you can like tell that, you can just listening to the song, you can kind of hear that if you really pay attention to the acoustic guitar that Chris is playing, you can hear that's what he's doing. So you got. The things I did to you in return. And then you can do it. So then you do it then. So you got return. Now A-7. Then you do it again. Then do it again briefly before you then go into this next section now, which I just said. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's the bit that goes. So first is first, before we go back to the next part now, F major 7, that's going to be your chord now for this first section, for this next section after the verse. The next new chord is your F major 7. It's also the first chord of the chorus as well, which makes things easier. So go F major 7, and yeah, so how I play it is, I've got my ring finger on the A string of the 3rd fret, and I got my pinky on the D string of the 3rd fret. Got my middle finger on the G string of the 2nd fret, and my index finger on the B string of the 1st fret. And then, of course, my thumb wrapped over the low E string or 6th string of the 1st fret to give me that F, give me the root note of the chord, to get that depth. And that's how I play it. Now that's how Chris plays it as well. And that's. But if you can't use your thumb to wrap over the low E string, then just at least use your thumb to mute the low E string, because you want to have this being played like that. It won't sound right. So at least, if you're not going to use your thumb to play the low E string like that, at least use it to mute it. So you're going to play from the A string down. You'll still have this, which will sound fine. You just won't get the bass root note in this F here. But anyway, that's how I play. So that's F major 7, and yeah. That's gonna be the first chord here for this section, and then after that, then what I do is you get the next bit. Then it's gonna if you want, you can just take off your middle finger, right, off the G string of the 2nd fret. So you've got like an F sus2, like an F sus2 type sounding chord. But I actually take off my index finger as well, because I do believe if you listen closely, you do hear this B note being played quite subtly in the song if you listen on this section, on this part. So you've got F major 7. So basically the F major 7 shape, just taking off my index and middle finger off their respective strings like that. So now I've got kind of, still using my thumb to play the low E string on the 1st fret, and then I'm playing like an E minor shape with my ring finger and pinky on the 3rd fret. So that's like the best way for me to put it. That's kind of like what I'm doing. So think of just the F major 7, just taking off your index finger and middle finger. But if you want to make it easier, if you just want to take off your middle finger because that's easier for you and more comfortable, that's fine too. Because that's like an F sus, that's probably more of an F sus2, and that works. But I believe how I play, I take off my index finger as well, so you hear this B note being played, because do you believe you hear that? So that's what I play. And then after that, anyway, you're gonna do it again, do that 2 times. And then then back into the next verse. Said I'm gonna buy a gun and start a war. Same thing then, G over C major. If you can tell me something worth fighting for. Back to A minor, A minor 7. What I said. Bring it upon a rush of blood to the head. That's A minor, A minor 7. minor 7 again, and then now we go into the chorus. This is the final bit now, which you only have 2 more chords to learn, because the first chord of the chorus is this F major 7 again, right? That we just played for the other section. So this is the exact same chord, same shape. There's F major 7, first chorus chord. Honey, all the movements are starting to make. Then you're gonna slide all the way up then to like this D7 type sounding chord. D major 7 type chord, and this is gonna be on the 12th fret. So you're gonna be playing like an E minor shape with your ring finger and pinky on the 12th fret, and then your thumb just going to be wrapping over low E string on the 10th fret to give you your bass and root note. Then you're going to go back to the F major 7 again, then go back down to the slide back down from the 12th fret to the F major 7 again. The mistakes that I've made. Then back to this D major 7 chord again on the 12th fret, with your thumb wrapping over the 10th fret. Low E string. And then on this, see it all, on all, you're then going to slide down 4 frets, 1, 2, 3, 4, slide down 4 frets, exact same shape, keeping this exact same shape in position, and then now you're going to be on, it's like a B flat major chord, and yeah, you're just going to be playing an E minor shape again with your ring finger and pinky on the 8th fret, while your thumb's going to be wrapped over the 6th fret of the low E string, just playing the root note and bass note, basically. That's why it's acting as a bass note and it's the root note. So we go, see it all disappear without trace. Then back to the F major 7 again after that. And they call as they beckon it on. Back to D7 again, up here at the 12th fret. This is star, then to B major, sorry, B flat major, you know, don't want to confuse you, B flat major, same thing as A sharp, but we're saying B flat major. Then after the second time you've come to this B flat major chord, you're then going to go back to the A minor again. So the second time, so keep in mind you only played this chord twice. The second time you've played this chord in the chorus will be the last time before then going back into the verse next, and then that will end the chorus basically. So again, so for the chorus, I'll go over it real quick. You've got F major 7, all the movements are starting to make, 12th fret. And then after this bit, then you'll just basically then, after the second chorus in the song that you've played, you'll then go into the outro. Obviously, we're not gonna, like, you know, the first time we play the chorus, you'll go back into a few more verses again, then you'll come into the next chorus, and then after the final chorus again, I've just showed you now how to play, you'll then just come into the outro, and the outro is just gonna be the same as the verse chords, just with a slightly different melody. So you've got on the bridge, by the lane, where I'm not gonna see the pretty face anymore. Leave me on the road, leave me where I said, blame it all upon a rush of blood to the head. And you can just end it like this then. You can go A minor 7, A minor 7 to, then you can just finish on this A minor if you want, or you can finish on the G over C major. So and however you want, but that's basically how it's going to do it. That's how it's going to finish. And yeah, that is basically a rush of blood to the head. Feel free to pause, rewind, go over the song, make sure you get it down, and go in the chronology of it. And yeah, you should be playing it in no time. A great song, very unique, very distinctive song. You know, classic Coldplay, where like, you know, a lot of the songs aren't in standard tuning. Chris uses different tunings, and that's just the beauty of Coldplay. That makes it sound unique. Distinctive, just very nuancing, very just a breath of fresh air. You know, this kind of unresolved, melancholic, somber kind of feeling that these chords evoke. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed learning today. Thanks for watching once again, and I will see you in my next guitar tutorial.